Ladies and gentlemen, I am Yuzral and welcome to the Tribble Timewarp. You will note the material files reloaded error that I'm getting down here. I suspect it may have something to do with this. No, this is not at all what it looks like on holodeck. Those guys are in standard uniforms. We appear to have lost their colours, and that is supposed to be a Galaxy X. The cloaking device isn't quite working as advertised. Either that or I just need to shut off the running lights and the impulse drive. However, this is a known bug, the semi-see-through ships. Like I said, Starfleet's attempts at cloaking technology apparently require some more work. That uniform I am not actually wearing. It appears to be taking off the #1 uniform slot regardless of whether or not you've actually got it equipped. Again, that's something that is on the live server, not a wild problem, but a bit of a nuisance. I'm not sure whether or not the game can flag up properly which uniform you're wearing. It certainly isn't checking the flag if it can. Something a little more interesting is that the Vesta has apparently lost its forward nameplates. Curiously, the registry number on the port side saucer is off a little, although the nacelle numbers are in place, and if I bring up the inventory window, 92910, 92910, those are correct. So I don't know what's going on. It could very well just be a client-side thing for me, but I'm a little puzzled about that. Anyhow, there is one big thing I want to show you, but first up we're going to cover one of the little things, and I'm hoping I can do it on YouTube because having to change characters in the middle of a live session, or at least semi-live session, is just a little bit awkward. Now, where did I leave? Where did I leave the shipyard? More to the point, where did I leave my Galaxy X and or my Defiant? There we go, the Nonesuch. No marks if you guess where I took that name from. So, those of you who've been paying attention to Brandon Felcher's, or rather Brandflakes' Twitter, will be aware that he's been teasing out the Avenger-class battlecruiser. Now, there's an interesting little tidbit here. You'll see that this is the cloaking device for the Gal-X. It's the same one that goes on to the Defiant retrofit. Note the additional classes, Battlecruiser and Fleet Battlecruiser. It appears as though the Avenger will at the very least have the capability to mount a cloaking device, although whether in best Royal Navy fashion it will be fitted for but not with, as a bonus for those of us who already have the Galaxy X or the Defiant retrofit, remains to be seen probably sometime this week. Happily that worked. Now let's get on to the main content, shall we? The thing I really wanted to try out. This could very well turn into the shortest time warp ever if this fails, possibly. If this fails very shortly, rather. I must learn to put my words in sync. Must not let mouth get ahead of brain. So, on the fleet window, you'll see that we still have the standard 3 holdings. There's nothing new there. Until you check the transwarp destination, Fleet Spire Delta Quadrant. It isn't in yet, more's the pity. This is indeed going to be a very short and sweet time warp. So it looks like this is how most fleeties are going to be getting to the Delta Quadrant in a quick way, similar to the Starbase. I would assume, therefore, that anyone not fleeted is going to be hitching a lift via the transwarp system. Makes sense after all, so it's in the Delta Quadrant, which tells us another little detail about the sphere builders. Could be the Voth, I suppose. They are Delta Quadrant. Interestingly, no, that's just an artifact for the hull and the lighting there. Alright, let's bring up the map, see if there's anything new on the Galaxy map. No. Well, that's simple enough. Still can't jump to the Fleet Spire from here, so forwards. Let's check the other obvious place, namely the transwarp conduits. The other thing I suppose we could try is going to be the jump from the Fleet Gate directly at the Eta Eridani base, but hit the slipstream for the moment, and while we're in transit, something that has been bugging me for absolutely ages. Alright, Replicator. Spire provisions, boys and girls. This is something that had annoyed me when the dilithium mine came out, and it's still annoying me now. It's the idea that we have separate provisions for all three of these. I assume it will get its own icon here. Construction of your fleet spire. Why Cryptic can't just merge these up into a single provisions item, I do not know. They cost the same amount of fleet credit. They are used for similar purpose. There would appear to be no particular reason for having these lined up and separate like this. It just brings up the currency proliferation that we used to have with the marks and medals and credits, and that has slowly been creeping back into the game. The whole point of having dilithium was that you didn't particularly need to have multiple types of currency for each rank. Now, that isn't why we're here. Where are my... Here we go now. Is this going to work? So, a lot of these you can now stack, or rather buy to 100. So, small power cells, again, you can buy these 100 at a time, small shield charges, etc, etc, etc. Curiously, there is one particular type of consumable you cannot do from memory, and I really wish I had the option to replicate these. It is the large power cell. You can only buy those 20 at a time for some reason. That's on the holodeck, and it appears to be the case here on Tribble as well. But my real peeve, the thing that really annoys me, is that despite the fact that we have been able to buy these by the 100 for a while, the blasted things only stack to 20. Cryptic, come on, guys, I know you can do stacks of up to 1,000. You certainly do stacks of 250 with data samples, so please, 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 can we have these consumables stacking to at least 100? It would save a great deal of inventory space, not least because I have 4 environment suits, 3 personal shields, multiple spare consoles, several of which do not actually exist on the live server, and various other dubiously acquired pieces of gear. Seek out new life and new civilizations, then clobber them over the head and take anything not nailed down, and have a good go at nicking anything that is. Alright, onwards to Eta Eridani. Last shot, I think, before we try to get the fleet spire done. As I said, this could very well turn out to be a very, very short time warp. Material files reloaded again. I have no idea whether that's going to be visible. I assume that's the reason for the corruption on the repulse earlier, or rather its complete non-existence, and the complete non-existence of uniforms on my Alt's bridge officers. Those were absolute default uniforms, by the way. No customization at all. I was rather lazy about my Alts when I was commissioning them. Barely planned to hit groundside at all with him. So, let's have a quick look. Alright, game on, Fleet Starbase. One quick haul over. We'll just check what state the jump gate's in. Completely non-functional by the looks of it, but it's not like anyone really paid much attention to this base, and we can't transplant entire fleets from Tribble, which is a bit of a pain. So, dump from Impulse. Toodle, toodle, toodle. Fleet transport traffic control. Transport gateway not available. Insert your selection of naughty words there. So, ladies and gentlemen, a short and sweet time warp. We've had a few hints of what is coming up, most notably the Fleet Spire. Looks like this is going to be the next holding. And at the moment, we have got absolutely nothing to work with. So, until Cryptic patch something else in on Monday, I'm going to leave it there. I'll see you next time.